Ron&Nick's Best Friend Podcast, the podcast
You cannot live without.
you can't live without it because this is about the Holy Spirit.
This is the Bible version.
No
right?
living without the Holy Spirit.
Well, that's what our best friend is.
He is our best
That's
friend.
what this whole show's about. Ron and Nick's best friend is about the Holy Spirit.
Yep.
This is the Bible version, and let's just go through the mantra of what we say every time. The Bible. Okay, listen. Answer this question, people that are listening. The Bible was written by who? Not by John, not by Paul, not by Moses. It was written by...
The Holy Spirit,
How come?
because he loves us, wants us to have a relationship with him.
Not a bunch of information.
Not just trivial pursuit, not just more information, but revelation and relationship.
Okay. We're in John.
Who is that?
You don't know? Let me go back to
Was
it.
that Gladys? No, that wasn't Gladys. Hold on. Diana Ross?
No, man.
Who is that?
Donna.
Donna Summer. Oh, man, we went to that. Did you go to that show with us? The show
No, that
about
was
Donna Summer?
in New York.
No, that we went to that in Richmond.
Where was that at? The
it
Donna
was-
Summer show. Now we're getting off base here, but
I can't remember what it's called,
I
but
love Donna Summer.
oh, it was great. We didn't see it at Scope?
You know who
or-
passed away?
Yeah, Tina Turner, man. Rolling on the River. Golly, Neds. What a force of nature, man. That chick right there. She could blow, huh?
She was a strong woman.
She
She
was
came from
some bad stuff.
yeah, and
bad
she,
stuff.
And she came. I wonder if she was a Christian.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. I would like to know. She's so like she was one of those people you would see her and it would just make you smile. I would go that I don't know, there's something about her.
Yeah.
It's like, man,
Yeah.
someone who just knows what she's doing when it comes to singing a song, man.
All right, we're in John chapter 11.
John chapter 11, we're going to start in verse 45. We do it verse by verse, one verse at a time. Used to make Nick nervous.
Not at all.
Not anymore. He's down for the show now.
And something you got to understand, if you're doing verse by verse, for those of you probably that keep on reading, it may not sound like we're on the right target here because you've read already through the next chapter, or not the next verse. Here's the deal. We're reading it like people would have read it at the very beginning. They're reading verse by verse, okay?
Yep.
So
Here we go. So we're going to get to our verse. We'll start at 45. That's the break in the story.
and where's the verse?
48's the verse.
Okay, got it.
Therefore, many of the Jews who had come to visit Mary and had seen what Jesus did, which was resurrect Lazarus from the grave, put their faith in him. That's Jesus. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done. Then the chief priests and the Pharisees called a meeting of the Sanhedrin. What are we accomplishing, they asked. Here is this man performing many miraculous signs. This is our verse for the week. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him. And then the Romans will come and take away both our place and our nation. This is verse 48. This is the continuation of the discussion of the Sanhedrin. If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him. And then the Romans will come and take away both our place and our nation. All right.
Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit,
Go ahead.
you wrote the Bible for us, for a relationship. You wrote this particular verse for us so we could know you. Show us how to know you better in this one verse.
This is exactly what I was just saying 1 minute ago. If you would have listened to last week's podcast, we might have been going in a little bit different direction until you hear this second verse. And I've got to give it to them, okay? I got to give it to them. They're really being honest. They're really showing their stripes here. To me, my gosh, to me, for them to say that, they've stripped away all their clothes and all their hierarchy and all their words and prayers, and they've actually are talking about their livelihoods and their temple and their power. I mean, they've just kind of like exposed it. Almost like they all knew it, but we're not going to say it out loud. I mean, that's just, that's really shocking to me.
Yeah. I just had the thought. I have never thought about this before. Okay, so we know the Holy Spirit wrote this. We said it 4 times already during this episode.
Jeez.
We also know that he used, or he had people participating in this process with him. That's the way he works. So when you say, well, John didn't write it, well, John kind of did write it. He wrote it with the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
They wrote it together.
Yes.
And here's what I was thinking.
That's what I meant.
I know. How did they get this piece of information? Think about this.
Oh, that's a good one too. Well, that's good.
I mean, the Holy Spirit could just go, I'll whisper this in your ear, and this is what happened when this group of people met.
Oh, that's great.
But
geez.
I think probably what's in view here is what I said last week. Some of these people, as a matter of fact, a lot of these people,
the Pharisees,
are going to end up as Jesus followers.
See, I never heard that.
Yeah, well, you go.
I mean, we know Nicodemus,
right?
That's the only one I've heard.
You read the Book of Acts.
Okay.
Read the Book of Acts, and it's there. I mean, Nicodemus, yes, you got it. But there's many of the priesthood are converted. I mean, it's stated. I don't have time to look it up right now.
Okay.
Trust me, it's there. So there are people that are in this meeting who come out of it and go, at some point in the future are going to tell John about this, and he's going to write down, hey, you know what happened when this happened with Lazarus? We had this meeting, and during the meeting, this is what we discussed, and this is what. And so the Holy Spirit says, okay, let's John put that into the story, and we'll add that into the story. I thought that was fascinating because there it is. Someone reported this. Someone came back to John, and he had this.
But do you hear what I'm saying? How honest they are?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they were in such fear and such like dire situation that you stripped everything away.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Just done. Like, we're going to lose it, man.
You got the inside dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to freaking lose our temple. They're going to take this away. We're losing our power. What are we going to... They're like freaking out.
Yeah. Everybody out there, except for us, is probably too young to remember this. But this, I just remembered, Nixon and his tapes. He used to tape people. President Nixon would tape people in the White House and record things of what was going on. And you're going, it's kind of like that. Like you're getting like
you're getting the skinny right there.
You're getting the skinny. This is what's really going on at the seat of power. This is these discussions. Yeah, and then he went back and deleted some of the tapes because he was embarrassed by stuff that was on there. That was one of the things that led to him being impeached or almost impeached.
So this is the skinny. This is what is being said behind the power.
Exactly. So look at what's being said. Okay, so that I got you on that. So they are saying flat out, we don't want anybody to take our place and our power. They're scared of that. But where does the logic come from? How is that? Okay, tell me how you get from Jesus just raised the guy from the dead. People are going to start believing in him, and that means Rome comes and takes away our place. Like, I'm not sure I get the logic. I mean, I think we can get to it.
Well, listen, he says, here's this man performing, and I don't know if there's different Greek words. They don't say many miracles. They say many signs. I don't know if there's a difference. I mean, why not miracles?
That's last week's verse. You going back to that?
No, I'm sorry. It's 48.
No, that was 47. He's performing many miraculous signs.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I'm sorry.
If we let him go on like this, everyone. I mean, it doesn't. I get your point. I'm not trying to bust your chops, but yeah, it's a miracle. It's basically the same word.
If we let him go on like this, everyone will believe in him. Okay, believe in him. Believe in him. What? Believe in him that he's God. Believe in him that he's powerful. I mean, do they even get it? Who believe in him means?
Well, I think what they are talking about is the gathering of a group of people behind any particular teacher is a movement that's a threat to the popularity is a threat to the establishment. I mean, this is the kind of power in one person that attracts all these other people that could be very disruptive. I mean, you could imagine. This is actually what did happen. Okay, what did happen is a group of people ended up believing in Jesus, and they didn't just overturn the Jewish hierarchy, they turned over Roman hierarchy. So the Jews are afraid of Roman power.
Right.
Which is the power. I mean, that's the power in the entire world.
And what proves that is if we let him go on like this, they don't even see him as God. This is just a guy that can do these great things. So we have the power. If we let him go on like this, I have the power to stop him.
Right, and to be fair to them, there is a context for this that probably escapes us if we don't know the history. There had been a lot of revolts. There were a lot of, Simon the Zealot was part of this anarchist group. There were others. There were the Maccabees and they all rejected Roman rule because Rome did what Rome did. I mean, Rome would come in and kind of water down everything. Greece did the same thing. They were like, oh, look, it's all cool. You can kind of worship your gods as long as you pay tribute to us.
Right.
Rome did kind of the same thing. Hey, listen, our gods are our gods. You can keep your gods. Just pay tribute to us. And there was a group of people that were like, no, we're not supposed to be paying tribute to a pagan government. And so they revolted. And then Rome would come and put down the revolt. And it cost people, I mean, literally this is what would happen if there was another revolt and a group of people said, hey, we're not going to follow Roman rule anymore. We're going to follow Jesus' rule. It would probably cost them their place because Rome would come in and go, okay, you guys haven't kept things in order. We'll clean you out and we'll install another group of, Jews to rule the Jews because you guys can't keep your people in order.
Are you giving an excuse?
Am I giving an excuse?
Yeah.
No, I'm giving the facts.
facts.
I'm just saying this is what. No, I think it's funny because the word "if we let him go." Okay, listen, a dude just raised a guy from the dead.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to stop him. Okay,
Right.
tell me how you're going to stop a guy
No, I know.
that can raise someone from the dead. I'm going to stop you.
Well, that goes to show you their thinking.
Right.
Their false thinking.
Well, they're all wrapped up in what they think is power, but they have no idea what power is.
Oh, that's right.
Once again, it's like they really don't understand what they're dealing with. They don't understand what power is. They think look, I'll give them this. We all have an understanding of what political power is. And I would bet you that most people would go, okay, what's the military? The military is the extension of politics. And so and Rome had all that. Rome had a military.
Sure.
It was the extension of their politics.
Yep.
And that was a form of power. And it would be exerted against them if they didn't take care of their own business.
Well, can I just put it more personal?
Mm-hmm.
I can see how even in today's life, you may think you have power listen. Everything I say, I'm thinking my own self, so I'm not throwing any stones at all. But I could see that I actually have power if I'm financially stable or my health is.
Well, you told me this morning you didn't feel powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically didn't use those words, but you said, no, I feel kind of sluggish, which is a way of saying I feel a little powerless today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel healthy. Don't feel.
Right.
I say that a lot of mornings. I get up and go, I'm not feeling it today. Right? Yeah, I got it. Okay, so financial power, that is a form of power.
Marriage, good marriage,
Relational power.
Yeah, relational power.
Yeah, you feel. In a way, it's like what goes into the tank. What do you run off of? What do you burn that gets you through the day? Is it I'm healthy today? I'm burning along. Is it my marriage is working today, so I'm burning along? I've got enough money in the bank, so I'm burning along. My plans are working out.
Yeah.
So I've got power.
Yeah, I'm just thinking as you're talking. Yeah.
There's a lot of ways that we look. These people aren't. I'm not making an excuse. Actually, I'm just pointing out like these people are normal people.
Well, that's a great. That's my point to that. Yes, we've said this before in this podcast. We sometimes throw stones at the Pharisees, and how could they think? I mean, these are just these are normal people. These are not. Look inside yourself. Don't judge. Look inside yourself. I'm exactly. My day, Ron. My day would be ruined at times in my job and having a restaurant if it was a crappy day, low business. I walk away, come home, and I would just be like, "Oh my God, what? This was bad." Man.
I'm sorry.
Why are you laughing at me, man?
Because
I
I
don't think
immediately.
that's funny.
It's funny.
You know, when you used to preach and you used to come back and say, "Man, I did a lousy sermon."
Well, thank you for just picking out the Holy Spirit thing that just dropped into my heart.
Oh, really?
Well, exactly right.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I go, oh, yeah. I
wanna
was
give
only
up.
as good as my last sermon.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So, and then I would feel
Didn't
powerless.
Beethoven say that? Or there was a famous. Oh, you even told me that story. It was no, not Beethoven. It was
Irving Berlin.
Irving Berlin. What was his line?
A little bit of a difference.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Irving Berlin said what? He's fearful.
The dude was uber successful.
Yeah.
Had written all those musicals and everything, and someone asked him what his greatest fear was, and he said, "My greatest fear is that I'll go to do the thing, and the power won't be there.
Okay. Well,
I won't be able to do it again."
He just stripped it away and was totally honest there, just like the Pharisees kind of said it.
And I was like, "Oh, I got to have this.
That is my strength.
Yeah.
That is my power, and if I don't have that, okay." And there's where our best friend comes in, right?
Right. Yeah. Our best friend is the one who has the love and the words and the power, which we talked about last episode. It's funny how these things are merging together, and being able to have a word from the Holy Spirit who loves you is resurrection power. It pulls you up out of this kind of thinking. This kind of thinking it's very hard to live this way. If you think health is your power, then you're a health nut. You get up every day and you weigh yourself and you look at what you're eating and you measure how did you work out well? What was your workout like? And it's very exhausting. Yeah, because you got to maintain it. You're powering your own life. Same thing happens. If it's your relationships, your marriage. How do you feel today? Well, did my wife smile at me before she left for work? Did my husband say, I look pretty? I mean, okay. How do you feel about it? You've got to maintain the power in your relationships. You've got to maintain the power in your own life. Oh, and the money. Money's easier. Like, okay, how much money did I make this week? Was it enough? Do we have enough in the bank? It's exhausting, man. When you've got to be the power in your own life. It's exhausting stuff because you can never take a day off. Where can you take a day off?
Let me ask you. This is going to be really off. We're getting close to the end here. But maybe this is a whole nother subject, but there were people that knew the Old Testament, okay, back then. Let's just get off the Pharisees for a second. There were people that knew the Old Testament other than the Pharisees, correct? Did they have the power?
Say that again?
Could people back in those days who knew the Old Testament have power?
Not this kind of power.
Not this kind of power.
How could they?
So they just had the words.
Well, they didn't have a relationship with the Holy Spirit. I mean, I think not the same relationship with the Holy Spirit. I mean, David, like King David, go to King David and you read the things that he wrote. I mean, obviously David is empowered. When David defeats Goliath, he is empowered. And that's such a hackneyed old story. I mean hackneyed in the sense that people use it, and don't actually know what it means. But David is empowered, and David understood the Holy Spirit this way.
From the Old Testament, from his reading? Is this how you said he understood the Holy? Would you say he understood God?
He understood the Holy Spirit
by what he read, or was it inspired into him by God? That's what I'm saying. Are they getting the people of the Old Testament that have done great things? Were they reading the Old Testament and understanding it?
Were they okay?
I don't even know if the Old Testament was written during David's time.
It was. So to finish the thought.
All right. Don't worry about
The
it.
Holy Spirit. David understood the Holy Spirit. Now, how he did, I'm not sure how to answer that question. Whether it was, I don't even know that I understand the question at all yet, because David would say, he said in the Psalms, don't remove your spirit from me. So he understood that the Holy Spirit rested upon him. See, that's not our relationship to the Holy Spirit.
Correct.
The Holy Spirit could lift off of David and depart from him, but the Holy Spirit is in us and says, I won't leave you, I'll never forsake you. It's a different relationship. So did he come into that relationship by understanding the Old Testament, the Torah? I don't know.
Right. And I know I took a left turn here. Just hold on, because I'm going back now to the point. Are we giving, should we cut a break to the Pharisees? They knew the word, just like David knew the word, but they didn't have the Spirit, or the Spirit didn't land on them.
Well, we've given them a break, I think, as we've tried to understand the human aspects of this. But when it comes to this, I ain't giving them a break. Because what you said. I mean, they just flat out said, look, we're more interested in Roman power than God power.
Okay.
We're more interested in our place than God's place. We're more interested in maintaining our status quo, our comfort, et cetera, than we are in figuring out where did this guy, Jesus, get this power? That was the question. The question was not if people believe him. The question was, who is he? And that's our question. If you haven't answered that question, you've missed the whole meaning of life.